Welcome to the Trailer Island podcast. It's what is it? It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday.
That music's really loud there, isn't it?
It was a bit. We're having a bit of a rave today, aren't we?
Mildly aggressive tones there. My apologies. Yes, we're the Trailer Island podcast, and we compare films and their trailers. Did the film deliver what the trailer promised? And we've been doing this for a while now. We're still together.
A year and a half?
Something like that. We're pushing 70 episodes now, which is pretty cray-cray.
Wow.
So yeah, there we go. And as always, I'm me.
You Alex.
I'm Alex. That's right. So I'm Alex, and as always, I'm joined by.
And I just are you worried about the names because you've been getting the name of this film wrong all night? I'm Steve, by the way.
I'm Ben Kingsley.
Yes, I have a mild concern because
Pronunciation is a problem.
Pronunciation, yes.
Yeah.
But we'll give it a go.
Yeah.
Because Marvel is certainly reaching out into the
Orient.
The pockets of Asia, I think. Would you say
Southeast Asia?
Is it Geography? Matthew's eyes are going. Hang on, he's looking at the world map that he knows that he's got on his wall.
Yeah,
it's like, hang on.
I can tell you that China is red on my map, and it is southeast.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
I'm glad we worked that out because there you go.
We're doing so well.
Yes, what a strong introduction to the thingy. And
Geography, yay.
Yay.
Tick that one off.
Oh, my God. You know, when you listen to this and you think we haven't done this for a while, you just think, they're still fresh with stupidity.
No,
That's the main.
it sounds like we've been doing this for far too long. We just don't care anymore.
That's not true.
We're just like, we'll get to the name of the film at some stage.
Well, actually, I might take that as a segue, actually, because I need to tell you both, this week, am very depressed.
You're revved up.
I'm both furious and absolutely miserable. This has got to be one of the most depressing experiences I've ever had in a cinema. No, I'm sort of being very sensationalist in my language, but I will get to my point. I just want to let you both know that I think cinema is dead, and we're going to discuss why. Dear.
Why, Matthew? Like, is this, you want to come back to this?
Now, this is going to be my main point, I think, for this movie. And I should point out, this is a very important point for me. This movie is a good movie, and I'm not here going to have a go at the movie, but I have some very strong points I want to make.
And the cinema-going experience has something to do with that?
It's the cinema-going experience and also the industry, I think. I've got some points I want to make.
I'm interested to know.
And as we know, I mean, I called Spielberg last week, and he agrees with me, so he's going to really encourage.
Stevie.
Wow.
Yeah, Stevie. Yeah,
Bergie.
Wow. Bergie. Yeah.
Well, my concern for a moment there was that you were going to bring up more James Bond stuff.
The day is young,
and
I've got a list.
Oh, it concerns me that you've got a list. Now, Matthew, I want to set you a challenge.
Okay.
Good friend of the show, Casey, has provided me with a book.
Okay.
And
I don't like where this is going already.
So what I have here...
Oh.
I have the James Bond Archives.
Oh, my Lord.
007.
It's hardback as well.
Glorious.
It's hardback.
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
Why is it glowing?
Why are you doing this to me?
And what I want to do, I want to set you a challenge.
Okay.
If you can avoid any James Bond 007 speak for this episode, Casey has personally said, listener of the show, that she will let you borrow this.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
This is very upsetting for me because I have a Bond point on my list.
Oh.
So now I need to decide how badly I want. And that looks like a lovely book.
It's
is your
this has to be a couple of inches thick.
Yeah, is your friend Casey a Bond fan? Does this count as me talking about Bond now? Does this ruin the thing?
The fact that she has this book,
it does suggest, doesn't it?
Would suggest that she is a fan. I mean, look at there's storyboards. That's
amazing.
Oh, there's all this amazing behind the scenes stuff that.
May I? Okay. I'm getting a little aroused, actually. Could I ask,
yes.
When it comes to Bond references, what if I'm like sneaky about it and you guys don't realise that I've referenced?
Well, let's get through this episode and let's find out.
All right. Okay.
Let's find out. There is your challenge.
Oh
hang on.
my God.
Just let me. Hang on. Would you like to what I'll do is I'll just lean over.
Okay.
You can just touch it.
Just quickly.
Yep. Just quickly. You can.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
It's real. It's tangible.
Okay.
It's a real book.
And
my God.
so
I love the black spine and the red cover. That's amazing.
look at that. Look at the gold embossed.
Yeah, that's really nice, actually. That's a good book.
So there's your challenge, Matthew.
All right, great. Yeah, hooray.
Is Ken-
Look, I love challenges.
Alex, you know my favorite Bond is Timothy Dalton.
Yeah?
I'll tell you right now why.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, he's doing well. He's doing well. That's good. Well, let's not get ourselves too distracted from the main point of this episode, which is this film. Who is going to introduce for us?
I'll do it.
Yes, please, Steve.
Because I'm the fan around here. Mm-hmm. And I apparently am the only one around here who can pronounce it right.
We'll see.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Throughout my life, the 10 rings gave our family power. If you want them to be yours one day, you have to show me you are strong enough to carry them.
You are a product of all who came before you. The legacy of your family. You are your mother. And whether you like it or not, you are also your father.
I told my men they wouldn't be able to kill you if they tried. Glad I was right.
You're just a criminal who murders people.
Be careful how you speak to me, boy.
I thought I could change my name, start a new life. But I could never escape his shadow.
My son, you can't run from your past.
Is this what you wanted?
You got this.
Thank you.
Okay, I just want to. I think there's two perspectives here because I'm watching that trailer as a massive Marvel fan, and so I'm looking out for any MCU thing. But then there's someone like you, Matt, who's not ingrained in the fandom, who's not thirsty for content, but thirsty for property.
No, and I think if I may actually,
Please.
gentlemen,
Oh.
what I might let happen here is if you guys just put
Don't. I've got the James Bond Archive 007 here. This isn't a concern.
can I reference the book?
I'll allow it.
Come on.
Okay. Look, I think before I get onto why cinema's dead, I would like you to perhaps to maybe discuss what the movie's about, and then maybe I'll jump in when appropriate. I think.
When you start turning green, yeah.
Yeah. Does that sound like something that could perhaps work?
Sure.
Yeah. You are right though, Steve. I mean, I'm not thirsty for Marvel content.
Well, can I get your impressions on the trailer first?
What I did like about the trailer is it does look fresh. I like it puts forth that kind of fun comedy, action adventure that we like from Marvel, and that's probably it's fine. It's okay. I enjoy it.
Alex?
It's a cool trailer. It's got good music. I think the trailer gives away too much.
Okay.
I think the marketing of this film was that they released a lot of scenes on YouTube.
They did, yeah.
And I was just like, well, I'm not going to watch any of those because I feel like I'm going to have seen half of the film.
I always find that a very weird marketing tool that they sometimes do.
So I don't know, maybe because, here on the island that we have a different perspective on or ability to watch the film, so they're trying to maintain hype this way.
Yeah.
Whether that's that attention spans of their demographics are less these days, where they need to keep them engaged with, hey, this film's still coming out. I don't know if that's a COVID thing, but I felt like it was probably just they gave away too much. Particularly, you see a fair bit at the end of the film in that trailer.
You do, yeah.
And one of the big set pieces that I thought would be really good to save for the film itself, but no, they're like, as you see in the trailer, there's a big Falcor dragon thing.
I will admit I didn't actually watch that trailer before I saw the movie,
okay.
So that is the first time I've seen it. But I was very surprised that that's in there. Yeah. But I'm glad I didn't see the trailer before seeing the film.
Well, I certainly avoided all of the scenes that they released before the release here. Now, in terms of the plot, you'd like us to discuss the plot? Is that
if you wouldn't mind, because I have nothing to say.
Okay. Well, so there's old mate lead character Sean.
Mm-hmm.
And he is, that is his Anglo name, and he's hanging out in San Francisco.
Yeah.
He's got a best buddy, and she's sort of this aloof, fun. They're all into their parties and stuff, and then, history comes a knocking. Hang on, where does the film start? Does it start with the lore on the 10 rings?
It does, yeah.
So it's got there's these 10 magical rings that this guy gets a hold of. They're not sure how, but they're like, so he's got them.
The Lord of the 10 Rings.
Like a century ago.
No. 10 centuries. He's been
10
around,
centuries, sorry.
He's been around for 1,000 years, and he's just like dominating fights and stuff because he's got these magical powers, this bloke, and it gives him mortality as well. And then like he finds love.
He does.
Randomly. Problem, this woman who's just like, no, you're a war criminal. You know what? I'll give it a go.
Why not?
And they have kids. I thought that's a bit strange.
He gives up his evil ways.
He does. He gives up his evil ways, and they have kids. And one of the kids is Sean.
Yeah,
Shang-Chi.
Yeah,
and so comes back to present day, and the door comes knocking. No, wait, the door doesn't come knocking for itself. His past comes knocking.
Yeah,
because he's living his own lifestyle, and because he's basically run away from his dad, wants nothing to do with the family business of crime, and and then the story starts to unfold from there.
Yes, very sad. Anyway, so when I was sitting, firstly, great to go back to cinema. That was great.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
I had the most amazing popcorn. It was a little bit salty at the end, but
okay. Brace yourselves. Okay, so I went along to this movie. I was after work, and I was like, I haven't been to the cinema for ages. This was great. I was thinking about the past times I've been in the cinema, and you had all this wonderful world of entertainment to choose from. You get to see other things that are coming out, maybe. And I was sitting down in my seat, I reclined, I was very comfortable. And then the trailers start. And now, as you two may be aware, the trailers before the movie are actually my favorite experience of going to the cinema. Is I like to see those trailers and what's coming because of the surprise and seeing, I didn't know that movie was coming out. Now, of course, I'm not a complete idiot. I know this is a Marvel film that we are talking about. I was absolutely disturbed by the fact that every single trailer before this movie was for a Marvel film. And it just made me so depressed that Disney have this monopoly, and that suddenly there are all these other movies coming out this year, some smaller films, some very large films, and none of their trailers were to be seen at all before this movie. And to me, I mean, I know that I'm trying to be a bit fun here, but I actually do find that legitimately concerning. So as a result, instead of me giving a critique on this movie, you two absolutely go for it. I'm just going to chip in every now and then with an upcoming movie that is not made by Marvel. So let's just say on the 14th of October, we have Ridley Scott's new film, The Last Duel. I'm looking forward to that one. The trailer is on YouTube, and that will be in cinemas only. That's from 20th Century Fox, I believe.
I don't think you saw the movie.
No, I did see the movie because I know Ben Kingsley's in his weird pig bat thing. I did see the film
with Morris. Morris. Wow.
Yeah, I've got a few more, but I'll pepper them.
Did this genuinely anger you so much that you are derailing?
Yes, I am. I'm going on protest. And again, like I say, not because this is a bad movie. I did actually really enjoy it. But I just think that someone needs to do something, and that person's going to be me. I don't want to liken myself to Batman or the other person.
Can you just show me that piece of paper? I don't need to see what's on it. I just want to see. Just give me a quick flash. Okay. So you've done that on a computer.
I've printed this out. Yeah, I did this
You've
today.
printed that out.
I went through. Now, I should point out, just for our international audiences, I've specifically picked Australian release dates because that's just where I'm going to see them on the island cinema in the Australasian area here.
Sure.
But I do lament, especially for some of the smaller films. Like there's the new Nicolas Cage film Pig that's come out, and I don't even think that's been shown at well, here it's Hoyts, that's our major cinema thing, and then there's also Palace and there's Piccadilly
Events.
and Event Cinemas, but
Wallace
Cinemas as well. And I don't think it's been shown at any of those because we're so not saying it's the cinema's fault, but it's just so much Marvel out there. And the fact that we're not seeing any other movie advertised before a Marvel film is concerning.
What Marvel films did we get in the
We had,
trailers?
I'm not going to speak their names because they've had
The
enough.
Eternals, Venom,
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw
Spider-Man.
that. I didn't see the Spider-Man one. Oh, you're right, Matt.
Yeah. They were. I had 4 trailers for films, and they were.
I
all
was
Marvel.
really hoping that I would see the Top Gun trailer.
Me too.
Right.
Because I've seen the trailer heaps of times, but I was like, I want to see that on the big screen because you get this cool sound.
I'm gonna play.
Sorry, Steve.
I'll play devil's advocate with you.
Sure.
I'd like to get into the film, but I'll make this point. Marvel have been storing up their movies for 18 months now.
Yeah.
They are releasing 4 MCU films this year. 4.
Wow.
Venom is not an MCU film. It's a Sony film. But in the past, usually films of one production house distributor will often show films of the same distributor beforehand in the trailers. So it's not unreasonable that there would be Marvel films beforehand.
And I'm not saying it is unreasonable. I would have preferred, for example, the trailer for Last Night in Soho, Edgar Wright's new movie, out on the 21st of October. Would have been great to have seen that trailer.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
out very soon here, and I've not seen that
I
advertised.
did see that trailer in an ad on YouTube.
Okay.
And I watched the whole thing, which I wouldn't normally do for ads on YouTube, but there you go. So has the market? Well, I guess we will talk about the film at some point. But has the marketing switched? And I don't know if that's just how it's been. But I always thought that trailers were about the cinema showing, hey, this is what you can come to us to see down the line, and this is our full gamut of things that we've got coming
I
out.
always consider it as careful marketing, though. A superhero film will beget a superhero film.
Well,
audience.
yeah, no, of course. But I mean, Tom Cruise is a superhero, I would have thought, in some aspects of flying a jet fighter. But like, it's the same. It's action. It's the same genre. I just find it. I always thought that maybe it was the cinema going, "Hey, this is what we've got coming out. Come and see." But now, are you? And
I'm
maybe
with
you're
you.
quite blatantly pointing out and making it aware is that these companies, and maybe they've always had a say in it about what trailers are shown before their
I'm
movie.
sure that they do. I know, for example, that the Man of Steel trailer played before Dark Knight Rises. That makes sense. They're both superhero films. But there was you still got, like Fox Searchlight Pictures in there, and they would have a trailer for a smaller film, and there'd be more of a plethora, more of a variety. And I was just sitting here going, these films are all the same genre and there's no choice. Because also, there aren't any printed posters at this particular venue I went to. They're all digital now. I remember back in the day you could go and there'd be walls of posters and you could do, oh, look at that, look at that, look at this. There's not that. So you walk through and you don't see any other movie advertised. So you don't see movies advertised to sit down in excluding a screen where there was a trailer for another film, which is admittedly not a Marvel film. So I saw 5 trailers on my trip to the cinema, one again out in the foyer, which was not Marvel, but the other 4 out of the 5 were all Marvel films. And I feel like there's something wrong with that. For example, I think of movie The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which comes out on the 9th of December, starring everyone's favourite Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, which is a very small film. It's a drama. I don't think anyone's going to go see that unless it's advertised, unless these venues take it upon themselves to actively advertise these movies.
Well, I have a feeling that you and I went to the same cinema, so therefore we wouldn't have got a different chain's take on it, whether it's a deal with that particular chain.
And that is, of course, another thing, of course, yes. But it's still something that's happened.
I'm worried for you, Matt.
So am I.
So what I want to do, I think we should make a concerted effort. And I might be calling it out on air, but I think we should make a concerted effort to try and go to a theater and watch an indie movie, a smaller scale movie. I think watching the trailers before that might reinstill a little bit of hope in you.
I hope so, but I do think there should be some regulations perhaps put in place, because I think this is a very weird situation where literally all those 4 trailers will start with the same red and white Marvel logo, and then the film starts with the same logo. So I think my point is literally the same company. It's like they've just controlled that all those 4 trailers. There needs to be some regulation, surely, whether you have to have some competition. You know, I mean, June comes out on the 2nd of December. That is a massive movie, and that was not to be seen.
We didn't get a trailer for that, did we?
Yeah.
I'm not worried.
I am depressed.
I'm not worried. I don't think it's Stockholm syndrome. It could be Stockholm syndrome, but
Well, how do we feel about Shang-Chi then? So we've established that that is the film that we are here to discuss, and we're a fair way into the episode, and we've probably had our most concentrated chat about trailers, which is, I guess, what this podcast really is about.
My protest is going well.
Since I think the Social Network, we really got stuck into trailers. But
That's
Matthew, I thank you for your enthusiasm on this topic, but if we can just steer it slightly with your input at some point back to the film of key topic here.
let's talk about some kung fu.
I accept these terms.
Now, how good was the fighting in this?
It's a welcome change in some regard.
Would you say it's a completely different look from the other films, like in style of filmmaking? Because it certainly hits that Marvel note at the end there.
Not really. I was catching sort of feels of Ant-Man throughout this whole thing, in that it's a smaller scale adventure, and I was really I was appreciating that. It didn't help that it's also set in San Francisco, as Ant-Man is as well. But yeah, that kung fu that sort of is prevalent in the first 2/3 of the movie, very enjoyable. Really, like. It's the Jackie Chan body comedy, sort of stuff.
Yeah, because it was refreshing to see close-up combat that was allowed to breathe, and it was, people without crazy powers beating down on each other.
I mean, one bloke does have a sword for an arm.
Yeah, but you could also just hold a sword.
True.
And like that bus scene, which you see in the trailer,
Which is amazing.
is a great scene.
Yeah.
It's a bit over the top given the circumstances, but in terms of the fight choreography in that moment, I thought it was really cool. And it's like Brighton in the middle of the day.
I do think that the film is at its strongest when it does that kind of thing.
Because in the trailer, we get that skyscraper fight with the bamboo scaffolding, and that was quite a dark scene. So it was kind of hard to see what was going on.
But also a good scene in its own right as well.
Yeah, again, the choreography, I'm curious to see VFX breakdowns, because I want to know how much of it was them really doing stunts versus what are they doing with 3D doubles.
I think Simu Liu, the actor that portrays Shang-Chi, he was saying that he did sort of learn these martial arts for the film, or he had learned it prior. So I think he was very excited to do a lot of...
I genuinely believe him as an actor can fight.
Yeah.
Like the way that he was moving, I was like, damn, that guy's good. But then is that a reflection on the stunt team, the people that he is fighting, that they're able to sell it as well as they do, that you go, man, this guy's a badass.
Is it also a reflection on the edit team as well, who can sort of put this sort of thing together?
Oh, I think
intuitively?
it's probably a reflection on everyone involved. Then,
Good job, team.
How deep do we dig in terms of who's responsible for what? It was good.
Well, I can tell you that on the 3rd of February, we have a movie coming out, action movie called Moonfall by what's his name, Roland Emmerich from Independence Day fame. So that looks like that'll be really fun. That's out on February the 3rd in Australian cinemas.
Maybe.
Well, maybe. Yeah, that's true.
Our cinemas tend to be open at the moment, which is really nice.
Yeah, I think with everything going well in the world of...
Oh, Matt, you're derailing my train of thought so much about this.
That was the plan.
I'd like to talk about Aquafina, because this is my first experience with Aquafina.
Who is she in the film?
She plays the friend.
Yes, the female friend, colleague.
I'm also told the platonic friend of Shang-Chi, the sidekick throughout the whole thing. And I thought that her performance was fantastic. And
Yeah.
As soon as I watched that movie, I was like, I need to watch more with her in it.
Yeah.
And so now I'm consciously looking for an opportunity to sit down and watch Crazy Rich Asians and The Farewell.
Right. Well, I found both of these actors really likable. I really enjoyed their screen presence.
For my mind, though, I think it's Tony Leung, the gentleman that portrays the father in this. I think this is probably one of Marvel's stronger villains.
Yeah. It's weird because it was hard to know if you liked him or disliked him. And then you've got to remind yourself, he's done a lot of bad things. But then do you think, is that the influence of the rings? You know, do we go the classic Lord of the Rings where, you know, you've got the ring and it's a bad influence on you and it turns most people into bad people, except for Samwise Gamgee. He doesn't get affected by the ring.
Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
So, you know, is that part of it? Is that the lore that we're going to explore? I don't know if they're going to get deep into it and that much.
And just to dig a little deeper, I'm gonna put on my MCU hat as well. You might have recognized that the Ten Rings have been in Marvel films previously twice.
Have they really?
The first one was in the original Iron Man. This is the organization that kidnapped Tony Stark in the beginning of the film.
Okay. Oh, they are the
That's
10
the 10 rings, yes.
Okay, so there are two things here. There are literally the 10 rings that whoever has them straps them on their wrist and they're like, I got superpowers, I got the 10 rings. But then you're saying that it's also a criminal organization that person is in control of.
That's right. When who's portrayed by Tony Leung, he heads it up.
Yep.
He is... for a lack of a better title, the Mandarin. He derides that Mandarin title, but which brings me to the second appearance, which is Iron Man 3. And we might have remembered there where Ben Kingsley is playing the quote-unquote Mandarin in charge of the quote-unquote 10 rings, and then that's sort of
Do they call it the 10 rings in that?
I don't think so. I think it's just called the Mandarin in that.
Okay. Well, that's interesting because that ties a lot of that a lot more. Further. Is there anything in the first Iron Man that we go, oh, that's the 10 rings? Like,
yeah, a couple of flags, and they mention the
organization
organization by name as well.
The Lord of the Rings movies are available to buy on Blu-ray and a new 4K remaster as well.
I am concerned that Matthew's getting paid for something that we're not privy to. What's going on here?
Why are your pockets bulging?
Bitcoin.
What's with the new top hat?
Sorry, where's my cigar?
And people probably wouldn't have watched this little mini short in between these few films, but there was something called All Hail the King, which sort of was a follow-up to Ben Kingsley's character in this little short. And in the short, we discover that the Ten Rings is a real organization and has taken offense to Trevor, what's his name?
Trevor.
To Trevor's impersonation of this organization. They're very upset.
But Iron Man 3, don't they establish that he was hired to do that?
Yeah.
By Guy Pearce.
Who himself is impersonating the Ten Rings and the Mandarin sort of,
Oh. See, I didn't pick up on those nuances.
Yeah.
Is that explained in
It
Iron
is,
Man
yeah.
3?
Oh, well, not in Iron Man 3 more. It is, it is in that. And it's also sort of recapped in this film as well.
Okay, I might, All right, brain good.
Definitely rewatch Iron Man 3. It's good. It's a good film.
It is a good film.
Maybe I will.
Back in the day when you could go to the cinema and see different kinds of trailers before movies.
So Shang-Chi goes on this mission.
I feel like I'm testing your patience.
He's sent back to he has to go back to his father's compound in the hills somewhere. And his dad is hearing, so their mum is no longer of this earth.
Passed away, yeah.
And the dad is hearing voices or something, but then
Hearing her voice.
But the magical land that they travel to,
he believes that she's being held there against her will.
But it's most likely this bad thing behind this wall.
That's right.
That actually just wants to get out and it's influencing him. Which brings me back to, it makes you feel bad for him because he's being manipulated.
Yeah.
So it's like, is he a bad guy? Is he? I don't know. Maybe.
Well,
he is a bad guy. But.
There is a great sort of scenelet in the middle of a film where they sort of have this reunion between Shang-Chi, his little sister, and the dad. And there's a good 15 minutes there where you go, I think that Wan Wei is actually a good guy. There's actually sort of layers to this character, and they're sort of exploring these layers as well. And you really do appreciate those 15 minutes until, it sort of turns on its head. And I have to say, probably that little revelation that when we're trying to find this, magic land, is probably where the film starts to go downhill a little bit. It's where, it really does start to get a little bit more too generic, Marvel-y sort of,
It does the Wakanda thing, doesn't it?
It does. It definitely does, yes.
Where it's like, okay, we're just going to create this different world. I'm sure it's in the comics. But it's like, just so, this is how this place has existed since forever. And why you don't know about it. And I don't know if it's in a different dimension or in like Middle Earth or something like that. Well, that's 2 for 2 on Lord of the Rings. It is, yeah. I don't know.
I think the implication is a different dimension.
Okay, but it's protecting Earth
from this force
thing that can find its way through. Oh man. It's a bit sort of convoluted. Just go watch the movie. That'll make more sense.
It actually reminded me, the plot, or the big bad really reminded me of Raya and the Last Dragon to an extent. Both in sort of the function of the villain or the function of the dark evil sort of.
Yeah, it's kind of the big evil thing in this film is kind of second to the actual story itself. It's kind of it almost feels like just a background story that's sort of happening, and it's like I don't know, like it serves its plot point, but the film was so focused on this family drama, for lack of a better term, that then when the big fight happened at the end, it was sort of like
I agree. I think this is the second movie in a row where Marvel have really got the family drama sort of right. They got that really right with Black Widow as well, and they start to explore it in this movie, and they never sort of really get into the gritty nitty of it.
Is it the best we've seen of family drama in a Marvel film?
Well, another movie that's coming out with family drama in it is the House of Gucci, which is coming out 25th of November, which is Ridley Scott's second film this year. That is about the Gucci fashion family and the murder plot, or accused murder plot. So that looks like that's going to be a ripping time.
I think these are all Ridley Scott films.
There are only 2 Ridley Scott films on this list.
Wow. I think maybe Black Panther do touch on that family sort of drama.
Yeah.
Even Thor does a little bit. I think Thor probably does it as well as this film.
Well, so far, nothing beats Thor Ragnarok as my favourite Marvel film ever. And this film hasn't done it yet. So I look forward to that happening. But in this, no, you're definitely right. As soon as it tries to do the big Marvel cinema stuff, it kind of falls apart a little bit. And I found that really underwhelming. Like we see in the trailer, we see the dragon thing underwater. In the film itself, that moment that just like, and it happens. There's no...
I felt the brunt of it. I did.
There's no big build up to it. And I was just like, oh, and by the way, here's a dragon.
That's one aspect to that final fight that I really, really enjoyed. I think it's the more, jumping around a major sort of fight scene at the end of a Marvel film that's really tiring me out at the moment. But yeah, everything with Shang-Chi and this dragon, I really actually appreciated.
All the stuff that was grounded felt really good in this film. Everything that was sort of grounded and literally on the ground is the best stuff in this film. Now, because we've spent so much time talking about other stuff that isn't this film, we've kind of, come full course a little bit on this, unless there's anything else that you wanted to add, either of you.
I did want to just get your take on there. You can see Wong and Abomination in the trailer, and they do make an appearance in the middle of this film. It's very, they're there, they're not. What do you think of that? Was that a little bit off-putting, or is it just like, oh, there's a little bit of...
I know why they're there, because there's you get 2 post-credit scenes in this film. So there's one just after the main titles at the end, and then there's one right at the end.
I didn't stay for that one, so I don't know what happens.
You didn't miss much. I'll fill you in afterwards.
Okay.
But you need to stay for the middle one. As
the middle one's important.
Yeah, there's the first of the 2. I thought they were cool. It was good to see them. Yeah, and there are a few cameos, like we've talked about Ben Kingsley popping in, and we know his backstory already, but it's nice to see him, and you get that he's good comedy relief in this. When the other 2 are doing busy, serious things, he's sort of the funny man. I thought that was nice. But in terms of those guys showing up, I was like, that's cool. Yeah. What was funny about this, about talking about the cinema experience, is that I went on a Saturday, and so the cinema was, had quite a few people, and I think it had its target demographic of younger kids in there as well. And a lot of them were going, "Oh, it's that guy! Yeah, that's awesome! That's cool!" And there was laughing, and there was all that, and there was quite a lot of noise in the cinema, but it was relevant to the film that we were seeing, and it was people responding live to something that they were seeing on the screen, which I actually found kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed that. What I didn't have, someone eating hot food next to me like I had in 1917 and like commenting on the film as it's going. It's like
I will admit that was the one thing that I really took away from this that was positive, was that I had the same thing, people laughing and commenting, but again, relevant to what was happening. And I really enjoyed the fact that we still are able to have that shared cinema experience was really good. I really enjoyed that. People clapped. Claps at the funny bits, and were scared at any jump scares or things like that.
Yeah.
That was good to see that after so long, it's being stuck indoors or whatever, we still got that.
But what I also do really appreciate a bit about the times of COVID and social distancing is that when you book tickets, someone else cannot book tickets next to you.
Yeah.
You are guaranteed that personal space.
I love that.
Whether or not people actually abide by that is a different thing, but I can certainly, make my presence felt about, no, one will not be sitting next to me. So that's something to go by.
It's the great
well.
Unwashed.
Yeah. So, how do we feel about this film? What are you going to 5 out of what?
Rings.
Rings.
Yeah.
Marvel trailers.
Marvel. No, we only got 4 Marvel trailers.
We only got 4, no, that's true.
Rings seem to make sense. Karaoke sessions.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what do you call it? Hotel California.
Californian hotels.
Yeah.
That was actually really funny.
I
thought those...
Yeah, again, they had good chemistry.
That's a really good point. Chemistry was really bang on between those two, which I thought was just actually kind of refreshing when a lot of the films are so one person important. This was actually, yes, there's one person who's important, but then this is like a second person. I was like, it's engaging.
Yeah.
Steve, you look at me like you don't agree?
No, I was Matt. I've never seen Matt look so dismissive for 30 minutes in my life.
In fact, I've actually disappointed myself that I've said more than I wanted to. I was hoping to only just list the titles of films coming out.
You had input.
God damn it, the machine keeps going.
Yes.
The Marvel machine.
Well, so out of 5, you want to do Rings or Hotel California?
Hotel California.
Okay. Who would like to go first? Matt, do you just want to get it over and done with?
Yeah,
Please.
now I'm thinking about this challenge because I had actually planned something here, and it's a very nice book.
Oh, yeah, just a reminder is that there is a James Bond Archives book on
Yeah, and I have been looking at it, but I'm also aware that I'm here. I'm not a particularly political person, but this is possibly the most politically active I've ever been. And I feel like
Over trailers.
I feel like that if I don't do this, I will never forgive myself.
You'll have no honor.
I will have no honor. I think I'm going to do it. So I thank you, Casey, for the blackmail.
Oh, wow. Wow.
But what I'm going to give this film is a November the 11th, which is currently the release date for the No Time to Die, the new Bond film,
He's done
which
it.
will be releasing in Australian cinemas
yeah.
on November the 11th, and that's really all I live for these days. That's my review.
Wow.
And out of 5 then?
No, that's it.
Brave. That's a brave stance.
I just want to point out that the only reason I will now watch a Marvel film is because we have to do it on the podcast.
Well, Steve. Actually, would you like me to go? Would you like to tail this out? Or
No, I would
because
like to-
technically
I'd
we
like
haven't
to-
had an out of 5. We've had a November 11th James Bond release out of 5 for Matt's review.
I'd like to hear someone's valid opinion, so go ahead.
Okay. Well, look, I didn't go into this with many high hopes for what it would be. I felt that the amount of marketing I'd seen for it, the amount of scenes that they'd released online made me go, are they just putting the best stuff out there? And am I really going to enjoy it? But as it turns out, I actually really enjoyed it, which was, I don't know if that annoyed me, but I finished my popcorn, and that's usually a good sign of a good film. It was, the choreography was awesome. I enjoyed all the fight scenes. The chemistry was really good. And you're definitely right that if they'd just that third act, if it just kept itself a bit grounded and they weren't lured by the poison apple of big cinema experience that Marvel just seems to have to do for no other reason than that might be what our audience wants. In this case, they did so well at grounding the film is that all of a sudden it becomes a big CGI mess and you go, it's done it again. I don't particularly care. But I don't know if I want to do 3.5 or 4. And my wife, she had the opinion, was like, I have to go see this film with Alex, and because he's doing the podcast. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, I paid for the tickets, but you know, she bought dinner, so that was fine. She loved it. Mm-hmm. She ended up really enjoying it. She's like, I was not expecting to come out of this and be really enjoying it. So I think from that feedback as well that I'll go with 4 out of 5.
Okay. I'm sort of tossing up between the 3.5 or 4 as well. Mm-hmm. My rating, though, it keeps on. I keep on coming back to Black Widow. I've been thinking about Black Widow the last 2 weeks, especially since I've seen Shang-Chi, and that is because Black Widow and Shang-Chi, they're both following the Marvel template.
I've just realised they're both the same film.
Yeah.
They're exactly the same film.
But here's the point I want to make. They're both following the template, but one film, the director cared what they were doing.
Yeah.
Okay? You can tell the difference between a templated film where the director actually gave a damn about fight choreography and really giving the experience to the cinema goer. It wasn't something put together by a committee.
Yeah.
It came together really, really well, as opposed to Black Widow. The third act, look, as a Marvel fan, I'm always going to enjoy that sort of comic booky sort of presence there. I'm not tired of it yet, but I'm looking for that sort of scaled down event like you saw on Doctor Strange, where it's a battle of wits. I think it's probably be a 3.5 from me.
Okay,
but like Doctor Strange as well, I think this is going to be one of those films where I'm going to enjoy it more as time goes on.
Yeah, sure.
I got out of Doctor Strange and I would have given that film 2.5. But since 2016, I really, really do appreciate that film. And I think I'm going to appreciate this film in probably 2 or 3 more years' time.
I'm going to enjoy when this comes out on Disney Plus and just watching it.
Yep.
I think, just as a Sunday lunch, it'll be nice. So that is technically 7.5 plus the intangible release of James Bond on November 11th.
November the 11th, yeah.
As was Matt's rating. So
I'm prepared to transfer the rating Matt gives for No Time to Die to the rating he does for Shang-Chi. And we'll wrap it up at the end.
So it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so retrospectively, the score on this will be given out when No Time to Die. So I wonder if Matt has to think about what he liked about Shang-Chi. So you've actually put yourself in a bind here, Matthew.
No, well, that's the thing is I actually do know what I liked about this movie. I'm just not going to talk about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's interesting stance.
It's a genuine protest.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah. It's not against you guys. I didn't want to. I know I derailed the podcast.
I
this
feel
week.
terrorized.
But I'm going to stand my ground on this one.
I'm proud of you for standing your ground on something that you feel passionate about.
Well, like I
once.
said, it's about time. Like I said, I actually said more than I wanted to. So yeah,
you were lured in by the candy.
I was.
Thirst for the property.
So 7.5 plus X.
Yeah, plus to be confirmed. And so if you're listening to this podcast in the future,
I will not stand for this.
You'll actually need to go to our future episode when it comes out. It may be out by the time you listen to this on No Time to Die, if not that film ever gets released.
November the 11th.
And you'll be able to retrospectively find out what the score is for Shang-Chi. So, yeah, there we go. That's a bold move.
Yeah, I know. It won't do anything. But,
that is,
at least I can say I tried.
Well, we could follow through somehow. We'll have a chat to the cinemas and see what they have to say. Yes.
Yes.
Well,
there was more on my list, but I think it's enough.
We've been the Trailer Island Podcast. You can find us from wherever you get your podcasts. Google, Apple, Spotify, Deezer, anywhere and everywhere you'll be able to find us. Let your friends know that we exist. We really appreciate you as the audience. And if you get the opportunity to leave us a 5-star rating and a review somewhere, we would certainly really appreciate that. We also enjoy if you'd like to make any suggestions for films as well. They don't have to be current. They can be plenty of old films, whatever you want.
Something really niche.
Yeah, give us something really niche to look at.
We like foreign films, is it? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. And I've been Alex. And as always, I was joined by
Matthew.
Steph Shea.
Steph
Shea.
Steph Shea?
Steph Shea.
Steve Shea?
And the legend of the 3 Trailer Island people.
Yes, I want nothing to know about what rings.
And the legend of the 3 ringers. That's us.
Please never call us that ever.
My depression's not got any better.
Oh dear, we've been the Trailer Island Podcast, and thank you again, Casey, for the temptation of the book for Matthew.
Yeah,
Of course.
I had to blow it for the point.
You did. Good night, everybody.
Hotel California.
This is a Narrative Network podcast.